I could see that you have also one of those ring lights too.
Yeah, otherwise I feel like I'm just like a blur with my computer. I feel like the MacBook Pro should have a better camera, but they don't, so.
Oh my gosh. I went to the Apple store because my laptop's pretty old. It's my baby and I don't want to get rid of it. But I went to the Apple store. I was like, is there a way that you could clean the camera from the inside or can I replace it? And they said that my laptop's ancient. Like they literally said that.
Honestly, that's what I had up until this year. I finally got a new one, but it was my baby, the last one, but it was giving me too many problems. So I was like, you gotta go.
2021 has been such a good year for you. So we're getting announcements about live music coming again. You celebrated your birthday.
It's been an insane year, but all good things. Really exciting. And then this weekend was dream come true.
Right? It's like the cherry on top. Now, was that a surreal moment where all these good things are happening at once to you?
Yeah. This whole past year has felt incredibly surreal. And then this past weekend too. I mean, I just couldn't have imagined all these great things happening because about let's see. So about like pretty much a year before, I was feel like I was living a completely different life, before our song Fire Free was picked up on Netflix by Never Have I Ever. And then that kind of like skyrocketed our music. It got us the record deal, we have so many festivals this next, till the end of this year and a tour and so many exciting things that are
Well, I'm
unbelievable.
glad that your dreams are coming to reality. And like you said, you're already booked for so many festivals,
Yeah.
Lollapalooza, Firefly, Life is Beautiful. And I can't wait for Outside Lands in San Francisco because that's where I'm nearby. And you're
Cool.
playing, right? You're playing the
Hmm.
same day as Tame Impala, which is on
Yeah.
Halloween. And I don't know about you, Michelle, but do you usually plan ahead of like what your Halloween costume is going to be?
No, usually I am a day of person, and that's when like that's when I get really creative. I know I have to come up with something and then I start really thinking. But this year I actually figured out way ahead of time what I want to be. So I saw, should I expose my
I kind of want to know now.
Okay, well, so on our Bad Dream music video, I looked through some of the comments and I noticed someone say that I reminded them of Disco Dazzler, which is like a Marvel comic book character. And I never knew she existed, but I looked into her this week and I was like, she is so cool. And she turns sound into light. That's her power. So I was like, this is totally like my this is totally my
Wow.
girl. So I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna do Disco Dazzler this
It's
year.
totally in your lane. See, I don't I don't even follow Marvel, but now I know a coworker of mine who's like into comic books and Marvel and DC. So I'm gonna ask like, have you heard of this character?
Yes.
All this good news happening. If you could describe your thoughts and your feelings into a mood ring color, would it be black for stress, yellow nervous, blue is calm, purple is happy, or green mixed emotions?
Purple for sure. Hmm. Yes. And I've had Purple Rain stuck in my brain for the past week. I go to sleep singing Purple Rain
Purple
and I wake
rain.
up, yes. So purple is the mood right now.
Could that be your next cover? Because I know you've been doing covers.
You know what? I did ask the guys this week. I was like, I feel like we need to do Prince cover. So uh we have to get on that. I feel like it's totally necessary because we all love Prince and he has inspired us in so many different ways. And I just feel like created the whole sound of like the 80s. And there's so many songs he's written that I've discovered that he wrote. And I don't know, he's just really inspiring to me.
Right? Yeah, like Manic Monday by the Bangles. I'm like, wait, Prince wrote
He
that?
wrote, yeah, the list is endless. There was like 200 songs that I read, and it was like a lot of artists' most famous song, like their breakout songs.
You mentioned about your Bad Dreams song earlier. Now, I know in the lyrics it says that about being in the back row of shows. Now, are you that type of person being in the back row, or are you like to stay in one spot, or do you like to ever move up to the front? Like, who are you when you're at a concert?
I think it's been changing. So now I'm a person that will just mosey on up front and like stand there because I want to see everything. Like I just want to see what people are using and be just soak it all in. So, but I feel so in when I was in college, I went to Florida State and we had this place called Club Down Under, and I got to go to tons of shows for free. That it was just they came to our school pretty much a couple times a week. So I'd go to a lot of shows and I'd sit on the couch in the back. They had like this couch and I just like relaxed back there and I never moved up to the front because those were smaller shows and they were super like there wasn't always that many people there and I didn't want to be I guess the one person standing up front. Um so yeah, the couch was my spot in the
And
back.
then if you leave the couch, someone takes it. You're like, no.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't get up. So
So I'm
Mhm.
really short. And so when I go to concerts, I love being up front. But now that I'm
Oh,
getting
true, yeah.
older, I'm
Mhm.
like, do I really want to stand for so many hours? So if there's like open
Yeah,
sitting in the balcony, I'll just go up and then just sit
exactly.
down.
It's more relaxing. It depends what kind of shoes you're wearing too, like if you
Now, you mentioned
Mhm.
about going on tour, and I know that you're going on tour with Sir Sly, Lovely the Band. How did that happen?
So, well, we started working with a new booking agent this year who who told us that we got an offer for them to go on tour with them, and, we were just like, "Hell yeah," because we're so excited to play in real life and go I think it's like 23 different cities. We've just been playing shows on Zoom and then um, some Instagram live shows. And it's just not the same. You know, we really miss getting out there. It's been a year and a half since we played a show, pretty much. So it's been so long.
Right? Yeah. And Sir Sly, they're such a great band. I've seen them twice. And the, I
You
know,
have?
right?
Cool. That's exciting.
I think was it in high school or was it college that you were actually involved with a radio station?
In high school, yeah, my high school had its own radio station and I took radio and that was the funnest class I had because we could program the music and my friends had radio shows and then they'd pull us on as guests and stuff and we just had a blast. I everyone people actually like skipped their other classes to go hang out in that class. So I'm like, what who skips a class to go to a different class? But radio class, it was totally worth it.
Did you have a DJ name? What was the music you were playing?
Oh, no, I didn't have a DJ name, but I'd pick music for them to play and stuff. So that's how I got exposed to a lot of different sounds as well and just really started diving into just music in general. So, because at the time I didn't have that was my only way to really listen to new stuff, you know, because I didn't have I had an iPod, but I didn't have too many of my own CDs and things to put on it.
Yeah. I come from a radio background, and to me, like radio is still my gateway to new music. I know that we have all these
Yeah,
other streaming platforms, but I'm very traditional and I'm very old school that I still rely on radio. And of course, you mentioned
cool.
your song Fire for You, like it hit number one on the radio too. So that must be an incredible feeling. And I always love when
Yeah,
artists who do have like a radio background, and I feel like they have much more of appreciation for the art of radio.
yeah. I thought I had never been so happy in my life when I got in the car to go to rehearsal and heard Fire for You on the radio for the first time on K Rock, and I almost got in an accident. I had to like pull over because I wanted to record the moment on my phone, and then I didn't even get it. I think I had a moment where I thought I was recording but wasn't, but whatever. I was just trying to savor the moment.
Oh, you should have like recorded like a reaction video because I've seen ones where like it's like an artist or a DJ hearing, their remix on the radio, and all of a sudden they just start bawling.
Yeah. Those are such sweet moments. Yeah, I felt a rush of emotions when I heard Fire for You. And then I kept hearing it every single time I got in the car and then Bad Dream and then all my friends and it was such a happy moment for all of my friends, family, everyone close to me that are all over, the country. So it's just really
Yeah.
cool.
It's a once in a lifetime moment. Now, I know that you posted a Craigslist ad and then you found Ryan and Paul as a result of that. Now, was there ever a worry that, like, okay, if no one responds to this Craigslist ad, do I relocate back to Florida?
No, I didn't have that worry because I I'm not sure why exactly I posted it at that exact time, but I know I just wanted to work on music with other people, and I posted that, and I actually got a flood of emails from a lot of people, but there were so many people that I felt I didn't connect with, and I I just wouldn't know how to connect with them. But when Ryan hit me back, he listened to all the same music that I listened to. He really liked my voice, and him, Ryan and Paul could work on a song with me to like test out our sound together without us meeting up, which made me really comfortable because then I wasn't just going, you know, meeting up with somebody that I met on Craigslist that I don't
Yeah.
know, and just going to somebody's house and like, I don't know, I guess that scared me. So the fact that we could work on a song without meeting up first and it sounded amazing and it sounded so magical, like there was just something there. And without meeting up, just in a couple days, made that song. And then I was like, okay, this needs to happen. And Cannons is still my first band. The guys have been in bands, a bunch of different bands together and with other people for years, but I just felt that there was something very magical in the beginning and very dedicated to making it work. And it's 7 years now later.
I know,
So
that's incredible. And you brought that up. It's almost 10 years, just 3 more years and
mhm,
then you'll be your full
true, yeah.
decade. I
Hmm.
know this is going to sound like a total job question, but like where do you see cannons in the next decade?
In the next decade.
Yeah, I know, long time from
Wow.
now.
Yeah. So I guess don't I guess I don't think too far ahead because I don't like to get too far ahead of myself, but I always have seen us just uh kind of just like on an upward path, nice slow steady upward path, and that's exactly what we've done since the beginning. I don't know what else I could wish for because I some of my biggest dreams for the past couple of years were like I want to play huge festivals. I want to get out there and I want people to hear us on the radio and I want people like all this stuff that I've wanted for such a long time has come true this year. So I'm starting to think like, what next, but I'm just kind of soaking in the moment of feeling grateful and excited by where we're at and how much growth that we've had in the past year, and I can only hope for the same for it to keep.
Yeah, you're like check boxing, everything that's on the bucket list.
Exactly.
This is your first band. And I did some research and before Cannons, Ryan, Paul, you had jobs before. Now, what was your job before Cannons?
I had so many jobs before kids. When I first moved out to LA, I was a barista. And then I worked as a behavior therapist for children with autism for a little while. But that job, it was very difficult for me to work on music as well because I'm such like an empathetic, emotional person that, that just it took so much of my heart. That writing was really difficult to come home and do. And then uh right before Fire Feast started doing really well, I was working as a representative for photographers and also at a restaurant. And pretty much like managing Canon's day-to-day stuff at that time. So,
Wow, what a wide variety of jobs.
right? I know. Quite a bit.
Yeah, but I always feel like, working numerous jobs, it just builds character on yourself.
Yeah. And it's helped me because with Cannons, too, I've been thrown into having to do so many different jobs for us that I've never done before and just had to like figure out on the go. So I'm very much that person. Like I never think I can't do something. I just think I just need to figure out how to do this and I can. So that's how I've always worked, and that's probably why I've had so many jobs from like one end to the other, because I'm like I can figure this out.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that Fire for You was featured in the Netflix show Never Have I Ever. That's not the only time your music has been featured in a TV show, but for the future, where else would you like to hear your music?
I'd love to hear a canon song in a big feature film or something epic. Something, but otherwise, I don't know. I really enjoy all of the syncs that we've gotten. And I do think that Never Have I Ever, the way that they used Fire for You and the part of the show that they used it couldn't have been more epic. It was the most important part of the show, the height of quarantine when everyone was forced to like sit on their couch and watch Netflix. And it was the number one show at the time. So it was kind of just like, how does it get better than that? That's and then it's shot to number one on Shazam and
Yeah.
TV charts and everything. So cool.
I was going to mention that because you wrote this song when you went through a breakup, and I think the song fit really well with the scene in Never Have I Ever, but because it is a breakup song and then you
Yeah.
watch the scene where she gets her first kiss by her crush,
Mhm.
and then I wonder like, well, wouldn't that song made a little bit more sense if it was a scene where she had her heart broken?
Shattered. Yeah. But the thing too is about that song, I think the music to it is super like sexy. That yes, the words are a lot of one thing that I do like to do with songs is I really like uh kind of like an upbeat, like sexy music with a melancholic message. So they're always going to be kind of conflicting. So it makes sense that they felt the music, like, that it was like a sexy moment. But I always do try to like throw things off a little bit and make the message kind of the opposite of the sound. So it can kind of take in a lot of different emotions like you can relate to
Yeah, and you could
through our
interpret it
tunes.
different ways. Yeah.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
have a strong feeling that Cannons will be in a feature film. I don't know yet, but I feel like it will be like a good, maybe a good rom-com drama. But yeah,
Yes,
I'm sensing that. And the reason
cool.
why I like to ask that question because have you heard of an LA duo Mob Rich?
I feel that name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So they were called Moby Rich, and then they changed their
Okay.
name to Mob Rich, and they had their single Yoko Ono featured in a Netflix show, Atypical, which is a really good Netflix show.
Cool.
And
Mhm.
I asked them, okay, so where else would you like to hear their music? And one of the members, he said, oh, I would love our music to be in Riverdale. A few months later, it happened. So I was
Oh,
like,
nice. Feel like your wish will come true.
I think if Ryan was here, he would probably say Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but
You got to. You got to
do
watch it.
it.
It's really good.
Okay. I've heard really great things about it.
If
Okay.
you watched all the Karate Kid like franchise films, then, yeah, I would start from there. If you haven't, watch all the
Okay.
Karate Kid movies and then watch Cobra Kai.
Okay. I have some catching up to do.
Yeah. And what's awesome too is that like for season 2 and season 3, they always end with an 80s cover. Like they find
Cool.
very indie bands covering. So one of them covered Cruel Summer by Bananarama and someone else
Nice.
covered In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. So that would
That's
be
awesome.
right, that would be a trip if we
Yeah.
hear an 80s cover from Cannons on there.
That's cool. I didn't know they did that. Yeah, okay. I feel like we're gonna hear something soon then. 70s soul and 80s is Cannon's jam.
So if you were to create a playlist then, like a 70s 80s playlist, what would it be?
I would have some Rose Royce. I would have some I would definitely have a lot of Prince songs since that's who I've been listening to lately. I would add in we do love Motown too, so like anything Motown based. We love Curtis Mayfield, anything funky. I love Bee Gees. Love.
You know what? Speaking of Bee Gees, I don't know if you saw, but the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, like he's
Yeah,
releasing a disco album or
I
something,
heard. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear what that sounds like.
right? And you know
Hmm.
what's really awesome? Because I feel, I don't know if you've been told this, but when I listen to Cannon's music, it's very like Studio 54 vibes. And
Cool. That's
now, um, and now we're seeing like disco making a comeback in a
mhm.
very good way because before, everyone was like chanting disco sucks. And I think what Dua Lipa,
Unbelievable.
right? Yeah, right. And now I think Dua Lipa was saying, no, it's all about disco fucks. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. It is. Okay. Disco. My parents met at a disco too, so I have a special little place in my
Oh,
heart for their love story.
I'm just like thinking like a total Saturday Night Fever moment.
And then yeah, and then she said that then later they hung out and he played some like what did he play? Marvin Gaye. And I was like, okay, he is
No, he's wooing your mom. You play Marvin Gaye, something's about to go down.
exactly.
Actually, you know what? With all the biopic films, I feel like they should do a Marvin Gaye movie. Like that's one artist they have
Yeah,
not done.
that's exactly true. I would watch that in an instant.
So you've done covers. What's a song you wish Cannons wrote?
I'm gonna bring up Prince again. I keep listening to Nothing Compares to You, and it's such a it's it feels so good to sing, and it's so I just feel like it's one of the greats.
You have a new album in the works. When can we expect new music from Cannons?
So we're going to be releasing a couple singles up until the final release, which will be right before tour. So we're going on tour in November, and we don't have an exact date for when we're going to release it, but it'll be right before the tour. So, and a few singles up until then. So we'll share bits and pieces of it. And it's just about completely finished. We're working on the cover right now for it and the album art, and then it's wrapped up. So I'm so excited to get it out there. Can't wait.
Right. And November feels so far, but I'm like, I
It
know
does.
that this year is going to go by very fast.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So I saw this on your Instagram. What is your in and out order?
Number two.
Gwen Stefani as a solo artist or Gwen Stefani and No Doubt?
Gwen Stefani, no doubt.
Okay. And honestly, there's no wrong answer.
No, I love Gwen Stefani all around, but I did love seeing her rock it out with during the Tragic Kingdom tour. Like I've watched that on YouTube, wishing I was there a bunch. So
Right. I still
mhm.
wish I haven't seen No Doubt or Gwen Stefani solo, but that's on my bucket list too. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for your time. I'll let you be.
Thank you. This is fun.